there is a quiet yet powerful truth that most of us rarely acknowledge. The universe is not something that merely happens to us. It is the most honest mirror of what we choose to care about. Every moment in life, every emotion, every seemingly random situation is in fact a response to something we've offered, our attention. From the time we were children, we were taught how to react, how to focus, how to interpret the world through pre-existing lenses. But perhaps no one ever told us that attention, that invisible, intangible thing, is the most potent tool in shaping the reality we inhabit. Imagine the universe as an endless audition. Events, thoughts, emotions, fears, joys. They all line up, waiting to be cast in the lead role. And the sole director is you, through the way you look at things, the thoughts you entertain, and the energy you send their way. Whatever you look at longer, think about more often, feel more deeply, that is what steps into the spotlight. And what you ignore, it fades into the background, as if it never existed at all. This might seem to contradict conventional thinking, the idea that I can't control what happens in my life. And that's true. You can't control everything that happens. But you can control what becomes your lived experience by choosing what you invest your mental and emotional energy in. In a world saturated with noise, negativity, and fear creeping into every corner, the ability to choose your attention becomes an act of quiet revolution. Because when you refuse to direct your attention towards something, you're not denying its existence. You're stripping it of the power to influence your inner vibration. And when you do that often enough, you begin to notice the things that once drained you, worried you, or scared you gradually fall away from your experience. Not because they've vanished, but because they no longer receive the fuel they need to survive in your inner world. That is the beginning of your conversation with the universe. Not through words, but through what you choose to care about. And in that moment, you begin to reclaim your power as the author of your own reality. Human beings often believe that in order to be heard, we need to speak. But to the universe, words are merely the outermost layer, the most easily altered and the most easily misunderstood. The universe doesn't care how you pronounce a word. It only cares about the frequency from which that word is spoken. This means that what you feel, not what you say, is the true signal the universe responds to. Think back to the times when you said, "I'm fine," yet felt completely hollow inside. Or when you tried to appear strong while carrying an unnamed fear deep within. In moments like those, the outside world may have been deceived, but the universe was not. It doesn't read your words, it reads you. So when you say, "I will succeed," but your mind is filled with doubt and your heart holds no faith, the universe doesn't hear success. It only hears, "I don't have it, and I don't believe I deserve it." And in return, it gently responds by keeping everything just as it is. On the other hand, when you feel as though you've already achieved what you desire, even when reality shows no signs of it, then you've sent out one of the most powerful messages there is. Because the universe exists only in the present moment. It doesn't understand soon, someday, or I hope. It only understands now. This is not some trick or clever tactic to fool the universe. It's a foundational law in how this world works. When you live with the feeling of already having, you align yourself with the version of you that exists in the dimension where your desire is already reality. You don't need to force yourself into some grand illusion. You simply need to step into the emotion of what you long for, as if it were already happening in your life. When you can feel confident, at peace, and whole. Not because something has happened, but before it happens, you unlock the greatest gateway for the universe to bring it closer to you. And the most miraculous part is this: every version of reality already exists simultaneously, including the version in which you are happy, healthy, fulfilled, and successful. Your job is not to create it, but to connect to its vibrational frequency through the emotions you choose to hold right now. Speaking to the universe isn't something that happens once in a lifetime. It's a silent, continuous dialogue, an unspoken conversation between you and life itself. Every time you think, feel, or even fall into silence, you are saying something, and the universe is always listening. If life is a complex game in which each of us is a participant, then consciousness is the only strategic map that can keep you from being swept away by the moves of others. And just like in any other game, the winner isn't the one who's luckier. It's the one who understands the rules first. The problem is, most of us entered this game without ever being handed an instruction manual. We grew up surrounded by unspoken rules, inherited beliefs passed down through generations, and limitations we didn't even know we were carrying. We were taught how to please others, but never taught how to truly listen to ourselves. We got caught up in the rhythm of life, rarely stopping to ask, why am I even playing this game? And then one day, usually after enough weariness, we begin to wonder, maybe nothing is truly random. Maybe reality isn't something happening outside of me, but rather the result of what I believe, what I think, what I feel, and what I choose. And in that very moment, consciousness begins to expand. Expanding awareness doesn't mean becoming more spiritual or memorizing lofty concepts. It's simply the ability to see more clearly, yourself, the world, and the invisible thread that connects the two. When you begin to observe the repetitive thoughts in your mind, you start to recognize what truly belongs to you, and what is merely an unconscious inheritance from society, from your family, or from your past. And the clearer your vision becomes, the more choice you're given. Instead of living like someone swept along by the current, you become someone who knows how to steer the flow. You stop reacting out of habit and begin acting from awareness. You come to understand that every negative emotion is a signal, every fear a reminder that something still needs healing, and every deep longing a sign that a greater version of you is calling you closer. The universe is not some distant force. It is the very field of energy you are living within, and at the same time, it is also you. Every time you expand your awareness, even slightly, you are expanding the boundaries of the reality you are able to touch. You are lifting yourself to a higher level of the game. And on that level, things begin to make more sense. Not because life becomes less complicated, but because you now carry enough inner light to truly see through it. Amidst this vast and silent universe, where words become unnecessary, there exists a language beyond speech, the only one the universe fully understands: vibration. And within you lies a finely tuned instrument, designed since the beginning of time to interpret that language. People have called it many names: intuition, gut feeling, inner voice. But at its core, it is one and the same: the inner guidance system. Have you ever walked into a room where no one said a word, yet something felt undeniably off? Or met a complete stranger and instantly felt a sense of trust without any logical reason? That's not coincidence. That's your inner compass quietly signaling you, guiding you through the chaos of this information-drenched world. Emotions are the map, the warning signs and the signals the universe sends to you through your body and mind. When something makes you feel peaceful, open, or warm, it's a message. Keep going, you're on the right path. On the other hand, if something causes you to contract, feel uneasy or restless, it may be a turn not meant for you, no matter how appealing it looks on the surface. The problem is, most of us no longer trust this system. We've been taught to doubt our feelings, raised to believe that only the rational mind is worthy of trust. But reason, while important, is still only a product of past experience. Intuition, however, is a map drawn from a deeper part of you, from a place your conscious self has not yet reached, but where something within you has already seen. What matters is learning to listen, not with your ears, but through your sensing. And even more important is learning to distinguish the voice of your soul from the voice of your ego. The ego speaks loudly, urgently, and from fear. It tempts you with promises and threatens you with lack, but the true voice within you is calm, steady, never forceful, but profound and unwavering. You don't need a rational reason to trust what brings you peace. That feeling is the reason. And the more you listen to what feels right deep inside, the closer you come to a life that aligns with who you truly are, no longer chasing approval, no longer pursuing goals that were never yours to begin with. In this noisy world, perhaps the greatest gift you can offer yourself is the willingness to trust once more in the signals that come from within. Everything you've been searching for was never really out there. It has always been waiting for you, in the one place you've always known best, yet so rarely pause long enough to hear, within yourself. If your conscious mind is the one steering the boat of your life, then the subconscious is the current beneath it, quietly deciding which direction that boat actually drifts. You can turn the rudder any way you like, but if you're unaware that the water below is pushing you in the opposite direction, you'll find yourself going in circles, exhausted, and not knowing why. The subconscious is the deepest layer of the mind, the place where everything you've ever seen, heard, or believed is stored. It doesn't distinguish right from wrong. It doesn't judge what's good or bad. It simply absorbs what you repeat often enough, and with enough emotion. From there, it influences your actions, your reactions, your choices, and ultimately, the outcomes you experience in life. You cannot change the past, but you can change the programming running in your mind through a tool that seems deceptively simple: repetition. When you repeat an affirmation, like, "I am worthy of love, peace, and success," you are planting a new seed in the fertile soil of your subconscious. At first, that seed will be met with resistance, questioned by the old beliefs that have long been rooted there. But if you continue repeating it, not just with your words, but with true feeling, eventually, that seed begins to take root. What matters is not where you are, but where you're heading. And the subconscious doesn't ask you to be perfect. It only asks for consistency. Just like a field yields exactly the crop you plant, the subconscious reflects back the beliefs you feed into it most consistently. But remember, only the words paired with genuine emotion carry true power. You can stand in front of a mirror and say, "I am strong," 100 times. But if you still feel weak inside, the subconscious will respond to the feeling, not the words. So what you need to do is not just say the words, but feel them as if they were already true. And then, one day, almost without noticing, you'll realize something has changed. You walk with more confidence. You remain calm in situations that once triggered panic. You open more easily to opportunity. You no longer have to force yourself to become anything, because you've already become it from within, bit by bit. Change is not a storm. It's the gentle wind repeating itself over and over until one day, you look up and realize the sky has changed. In the end, every effort, every question, every search leads us back to a single point. Not to some distant corner of the universe, but to ourselves. Not to become someone else, but to remember who we truly are. You are not a bystander observing the universe from the outside. You are an inseparable part of it. Just as a single drop of water reflects the entire ocean, each breath you take contains a fraction of the pulse of this vast universe. And when you begin to live with awareness, with intention, with love, you begin to synchronize yourself with the greatest energy source behind all that exists. You don't need to wait for a miracle. You are the miracle. You don't need to wait for a sign. Your very presence, your awareness, your vibration, your choices is the sign. If your reality today doesn't reflect what you hoped for, remember, it doesn't mean you've gone the wrong way. It simply means you are standing at a threshold, an invitation to rewrite. You can choose again what you believe. You can redirect your attention. You can speak to yourself again, this time with trust and tenderness. The universe does not judge. It only reflects. And you, yes, you, are the artist holding the brush. The canvas of your life is not painted by luck or fate. It is shaped, stroke by stroke, by the thoughts you nurture, the emotions you honor, the actions you repeat, and the love you give to yourself. You are the universe, momentarily living in human form. And if you can believe that, truly feel it, then nothing is impossible anymore. If something in this video made you pause, made you listen a little more deeply, don't forget to hit subscribe so we can keep walking this path together.